Hello there, welcome to Talking Balearics with me, Martin Makepeace, here in a very wet Ibiza.
Me, Richie Pryor, which was a wet Mallorca, but it's actually brightened up again. There was supposed to be a yellow alert on weather, but I don't think it's materialised here in Mallorca. I don't know if it's the same in Ibiza.
It's absolute chaos over here, Rich. It's
oh, is it?
Have you just received the alert on the phone? Because we have. Have you just received that?
No, actually, no.
No, something, we mentioned about it, didn't we, in a previous podcast. I've just received it the first time, and it scared the living daylights out of me, I've got to tell you.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was like, like the hazard warning, and it came up. So basically, we've just had a warning saying, please stay inside. Do not go to, do not use the roads, go to higher floors. There's a risk of flooding. So it's absolute chaos, Rich.
I don't know if you can see behind me. I'm actually, it's not sunshine bright, but it's warm and it's dry. So it hasn't hit us as badly as I think it was expected. But obviously stay safe, as they say.
Yeah, no, for sure. Well, I've just passed it on in various WhatsApp groups because someone just texted me, said they're near Pasha. It's chaos. It's flooded everywhere. I mean, don't go out unless you have to today, because it really is. I mean, it's Tuesday today. Well, obviously we'll release a podcast on a Wednesday, which would be tomorrow. But hopefully it's all cleared up by then. But today, Tuesday, it's pretty chaotic. And I just read on the wire. So there's over 40 warnings in the Ibiza, but the most warnings so far, San Giuseppe, where I'm actually at the moment, Ibiza town, Selva with 7 incidents, Inca with 3, Santa Margalida with 2. Is that your way, Santa Margalida?
I'm looking at the radar. I'm looking at the radar, and I can see Ibiza absolutely covered in it. To be perfectly honest, and we're clear as a bell right now.
Yeah,
so I think what is happening is it's moving west, and it's not actually touching us.
It's funny how these little microclimates happen, though, isn't it? Because I've just spoke to my son who's in Madrid, and he said it's dry and warm over there. And today, obviously, sometimes you get it and we miss it, but today, unfortunately, Ibiza has got the brunt of it, I'm afraid.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, this is Talking Balearics, of course, with me, Richie, in Ibiza. I wish I was in Ibiza. I mean, Mallorca, Martin in Ibiza. What you got, Mark, this week?
Yeah, I've got a few things, mate. First of all, I've got DJ awards. Listen, we've spoken regularly about how important the DJ and the nightclub scene is on the White Isle of Ibiza, and tonight is the big one, and it's going to be at the new club, which I'll talk to you about as well. So let's go into detail about that. I've also got some.
I haven't been nominated, have I? By the way,
no, mate. It's not the radio DJs, mate. It's the
okay.
All you do is press a few buttons. Oh yeah, it's club days. All you do is like Smashy and Nicey, put a few little records on, don't you? I've seen the records. I've seen the video.
Mark, come on.
You put the 45 vinyls on, don't you, with your your telephone as your headphones? So
That's it.
No, I want to go to a bit more detail about that. We've got immigrant story as well, Rich. I mean, it's not a story I like to report, but it's just getting out of hand now. It really is. I mean, it's just Formentera is bearing the brunt of it. And thirdly, I've got a little bit of story about the Parador of Ibiza, which will blow your socks off, mate.
So I've got for you today, the ABTA conference comes to Mallorca next week. About 500 delegates are descending on Calvia next week. So I've got that to talk about. Also, talking to people descending, we've got about 4,500 American sailors coming into town next week. Also here for about 6 days. They're on the USS Gerald R. Ford. So that's good for the economy here in Mallorca. And I've got a third story about the Balearic government tracks down holiday rentals for which the tourist tax has not been paid. That is my rant this week, Martin.
Okay.
I don't know where you want to start.
We love a Richie rant, don't we? I mean, it wouldn't be a Talking Balearics podcast without a Richie rant. Let's start with the DJ awards, Rich. I mean,
please do.
I mean, Dwayne Nolan, when he comes on and increases our listeners quite considerably, talks about it in depth. He runs Ibiza Club News, and it's something that there's always a bit of pushback from the politicians, but there's no doubt whatsoever that the club scene is probably, you're from afar. Let me ask you, Rich, is it the most famous thing about Ibiza, do you think?
Oh, without doubt. Without doubt. You that's where you look up on Ibiza, and, I would probably put that, listen, I'm not the clubbing type, but you think of clubbing, you think of Ibiza. The other place you probably think of is, for me, is either Miami or Vegas.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So
So I mean,
you put them on those pedestals. So
we're in good company there, aren't we? I mean, so this evening, Tuesday, the 30th of September, at Universe nightclub, which is the formerly the biggest nightclub in the world, which I think may be still the biggest nightclub in the world, but it used to be called Coup and Privilege. They're doing the DJ Awards, where it's the top 100 DJs will be announced, and it's a big palaver, mate. Really, I mean, everyone gets invited, so all the main DJs of the world will probably be there. Hence why it's on a Tuesday night and not on a Friday or Saturday night where they'd be normally playing. So I'm expecting a big turnout. It will be a name that everybody knows. I don't think it'll be someone like Goethe or Carl Cox. They're a bit more legacy DJs these days, but it'll probably, it could be one of the new ones. Fisher, Eric Prydz has been around for a while. I'm thinking Fisher might get it. I've got tickets, so I might go myself. I'll see how it goes.
You bought tickets, or you're giving them?
No, I'm not buying tickets, Rich. Obviously, we're not doing that.
There you go. You see.
So we're going to have a look, but I think it's a nice celebration. It's a bit like the Oscars, Rich. It doesn't always leave a good taste in your mouth because it's a lot of backslapping and everyone telling each other how good they are. But I think just as a micro industry on the island, it's just so important, and it's celebrated as well. We've got the best clubs in the world have always been nominated as well, and I think we said before all the Ibiza institutions are in the nomination. So it just shows you, Rich. I think tonight will be interesting. Let's see who wins that coveted Best DJ in the World award, and it just shows you how important the industry is to the island. And I don't know anywhere else in the world. Like you've mentioned Miami, you've mentioned Vegas as well. I don't know anywhere else in the world where clubbing is so important. I think Miami and Vegas have got casinos, haven't they? So, they've got another string to their bow. Miami's got an amazing beach area. It's got amazing scenery. But I think when it comes to Ibiza, it's probably the number one when it comes to the actual industry of clubbing and nightlife, because there's nowhere else like it. So long may it continue.
We want an exclusive from you. Who's going to win?
Now I'm going to go Fisher. Fisher, he's an Aussie guy, really popular on the scene. I think he'll be top.
He's played over here.
He'll be top five, but there might be a curveball in there, Rich, as well. So watch this space tomorrow.
Where would you like to go with me, Mark? Should we go to the ABTA conference?
ABTA, I heard about this because it's going to be big, isn't it?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's a great opportunity for Calvia to sort of show it's around 500 delegates, I've been told. They're staying in the Calvia Beach Resort, as it's better known, Magaluf. 2 hotels towards the end of the bay, from the 6th to the 8th. So it's a week on. No, it's this Monday, isn't it? I'm just thinking it's the 30th today. Wow. Yeah. So it's this Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday that they're here. It's I remember the ABTA conference back in 1992 when it was Sunworld's first ever year of being back in tour operating, or back in, but most of the people that joined Sunworld were people that worked for Intersun. That was at the time, and Sunworld was sort of created from the ashes of Intersun, and we were sort of hosting the event. I was obviously part of the team of Sunworld then, and it was quite a big event then, and it's being held in Calvia this year. So it's a good opportunity for Calvia to sort of showcase all the new changes that they've done to the area and beyond. And, you'll get quite a lot of professionals from around the world, from the UK, actually coming here and see what Mallorca has to offer. So it can only be a good thing, a positive thing. And hopefully they'll embrace it and then look to sell more holidays here next year.
As a former travel agent myself, I ran a very successful travel agency in Ibiza for 10 years. I went into property because basically the travel industry withered and died because of direct airlines, low-cost airlines, because you could book direct with hotels, dynamic packaging that you do when you're sat on your sofa at home. Mm-hmm. So how important do you think that travel agents are to the island of Mallorca these days? Because I would probably say Jet2 holidays are massive over here, but they're direct, aren't they? You book those online. So the actual travel agent itself, how important is it to Mallorca?
Since obviously COVID, with problems that people had, getting money back and stuff like that from the COVID times, and also just remember also Thomas Cook, when they went bust, a lot of people got caught out because they were dealing with different people in different areas and everything else. I still think it's a travel agent is as important as booking it yourself, if particularly from the older end of the market more than anything else. They're still reliant on travel agents rather to book online. The new areas of the youth and everything else are booking more stuff online, which is why you see people like Jet2. We know EasyJet now are probably the third biggest tour operator, who built their particular portfolio online. And I think TUI have been dragged into the online world slowly, because we know how big TUI are. But I think they're progressing in that world as well. So are they important? Yes, of course they are, because they will send a certain amount of people, percentage-wise. Not sure how many, but it'll still be important, and I think it's good that the more people that see the change in Magaluf, the better for me.
And what is the major change? So I was in Magaluf, say 10 years ago or 5 years ago. What would you say if I was coming as part of the ABTA conference? What is the big thing that I will notice about the change in Magaluf?
Well, you'll see. Listen, they're staying in 2 hotels that are right on the beachfront. It always has been one of the best beaches in Mallorca, no matter what anybody tells you, it is, without doubt. But they also have now a beachfront that's second to none, really, to be honest with you. You can start from Nicky Beach and you can work your way all around with the different restaurants, bars and cafes, beach clubs, etc. All of the very, very standard. All are doing very, very well. This is what we call the front line, the first, whichever way around you want to call it. The council have updated the Paseo Maritimo, which is the walkway. They've done half of it. They're going to do the other half in the second in the winter this year as well. So by the end of or next year, when we open up for season next year, the whole beachfront will be changed, and then you're looking at hotels. I mean, all the hotels pretty much that I know have upgraded. They've all changed their names, which is not easy for us that work in old money, to be perfectly honest.
Where's the Sol Barbados these days, Richie?
Actually, the Sol Barbados is one of the only ones that actually
has really
still got its name, Mark.
Yeah, well, that's Tobago. Tobago, is that still there?
No, Tobago has been bought out by Fergus. I think it still might be called the Fergus Tobago, but that's been done up. I mean, literally, everywhere you go, every hotel's been done up. And you're looking now, over 75% of hotels in Magaluf are 4 or 5 star hotels. There is where the big thing lies. And also, don't forget that it's become a family resort now rather than just a young people's resort.
Who'd have ever thought that? Rich, on the other side of the coin, is there a way that I want to do Magaluf on a budget? Is there hostels? Is there cheaper places to stay? Or is it all about 4 or 5 star?
No, there are still cheaper. There's not as many as there probably used to be. I'll be perfectly honest with you, but there are still hostels around. I can remember off the top of my head. I'm trying to think of one now. Jacketon, for instance. I think that still exists. I should go. There you go, Mark. I don't get out much these days, but I think there's still hostels. Yeah, listen, you can do it on a budget. Of course you can. You just got to look around. You got to shop around, but. Are they targeting the budget holidays anymore? I don't think they are, personally. No. I think they're targeting the more affluent, middle class, upper class people within what they do. That doesn't mean to say that they're not open to any class coming to us. I still think they are. Do you know what I mean? I just think they've gone for a higher end of market. But these people will spend more.
Yeah, there's more margin in it, isn't there? Where I mean, what we've got in San Antonio, especially, is a really interesting concept. It's called the Concept Hotel Group, and what they do is I've got one next to me called the Paradiso. I've got the Grand Paradiso. They've got Romeo and Juliet's Diner. They've got one up the road called Felice's. So there's 4 within walking distance of my front door. And what they've done, Rich, is very interesting. Is they go out and they get one of those old rundown 3-star hotels, which we all know and love back in the day, and they really absolutely pimp it up. They go there, but what they do is they put a concept in there. Okay, so for instance, the Paradiso, which is next to me, used to be a really boring, drab apart hotel called the Blue Star. However, this group has gone in. They have really transformed it. They've put flamingos there. It's pink. It's very Broadway. It's kind of Art Deco, rather. They've put in the reception area. You've probably seen it went viral. They put like a room in reception with glass all the way around it and said you can stay there free of charge if you want to. It's a gimmick, but it works. And also that hotel, if you think about it now, has gone from a 3-star, probably 50 quid a night per person. It's now, I think it might be 3 or probably 4-star now. It's probably 150 a night, so an extra £100 per person per night, or €100 per person per night. And also just that, it's also the most Instagrammed hotel on the island of Ibiza, and that's what it's all about. You're trying to create memories. You're trying to create different kind of sensations, aren't you? And I think Magaluf, whenever time I come over to see you guys, I'm always amazed that they've probably gone more mainstream. They haven't really thought outside the box. It's all that generic 4 and 5-star hotels, but it's obviously appealing to the right audience because they're full, aren't they?
Very busy. They are very busy. Listen, we still have this problem, as we've talked about endless times on this podcast, about the second and third line suffering, but something needs to be done. We need to look at it, what can be done for those particular bars, restaurants, cafes, etc. But they may, as we've said before also, that they may need to rethink about what they actually offer these particular clients. And let's say, or we go down the route of what you talked about, Mark, with, you know, those locales or whatever are used as housing.
Yeah, I think that's a no-brainer. Whether legally they can get it on in time, I don't know. But San Antonio have come up with a concept, Rich, which is quite interesting about the front line and the difference between front, second, and third line. Is in the West End of San Antonio, which is, as we know, is that political hot potato. You either love it or hate it. They're offering an €80,000 grant, so free money basically, if you change the license of your premises from like a discotheque, nightclub, stroke, what would you call it? Like where you go in and stay until 7 o'clock in the morning. They're offering, if you change the license from that to like a restaurant stroke boutique, you know, you can still serve drinks up to a certain time. They'll offer you 80,000 in cash. And that's a really good incentive to where people go, actually, that business isn't working anymore because, as you said to me before about Lineker's, didn't you? You were mentioning Lineker's. So yeah. So you said to me about Lineker's. Now Lineker's is a good example of it's just not really working anymore because there's no market for it. I wrote about it last week. I said basically the daytime market is massive. People go in the daytime clubs and they go home, shower and change, and they go to world-class famous nightclubs in the evening. So there's no, Rich, come on, let's go and have a gin and tonic in a local bar anymore. It just doesn't exist. It does for locals, but it doesn't exist for tourists. Listen, you can make money off locals, but you make lots of money off tourists.
The Talking Balearics podcast is brought to you by Priority Mallorca, your personal concierge for the ultimate Mallorca experience.
Parador, let's talk about hotels. Let's carry on with the Parador. Now, Parador is, for those who don't know, it's a hotel which is they build these hotels in very cultural places. So they'll build them in cathedrals or churches, or they'll build them in monasteries or things like that. It's got to be a very important cultural heritage. Now, the Ibiza Parador being built for how many years, Rich? Go on, name a number between 1 and 20.
Well, I'll go for 20.
Yes, mate, you're exactly right. It's being built now for 20 years, which is an absolute disgrace. It really is. There's one problem after the other. Now, it's beautiful. It's right on the top of the old town, Dolt Villa, iconic World Heritage site, right at the top. It's a UNESCO World Heritage site. There's a beautiful Parador, which has been more or less finished for several years now, but they keep having teething problems. Now, the latest development, and this is quite interesting, Rich, because it kind of links in with what we've talked about before, is they've decided to up the wages of the people who work in Paradors, but just Ibiza only, not for the rest of the country. Isn't this like the large town allowance we've talked about a few times as well, where if you're in the Balearics, then you get paid more money, just like if you're in London, you get that large town allowance of 4 or 5 grand more per year. So for me, it seems to be the first movement in this direction. Obviously, the people in Madrid and Barcelona aren't happy. So on the 7th of October, they're going to have a walkout, a strike. They're going to have a little bit of a rally. So the unions aren't taking it lightly, but I think it's an interesting development because we've talked about it forever, haven't we? That people can't afford to live in the Balearics anymore. It's as simple as that. So this looks like there's a movement to pay people in the Balearics a little bit more money.
This is the Talking Balearics podcast in association with the Ibiza Property Shop. Over 20 years experience in sales and villa rentals. The home you want on the island you love.
I'm carrying on the tourist sort of rant, basically, as you know, I love.
Is this a Richie rant? Is this a Richie rant?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, listen,
yeah. We should start our own little. I'm going to start a little jingle for this as well. Like this week's Richie rant.
When I read it, I went, "This can't be true. Surely not." The Balearic government. Listen to this. The Balearic government has reported that it's discovered 1,475 holiday rental properties for which no tourist tax has been paid. Of these, 570 have now registered for the tax. So you mean to tell me that they've been given a license to be legal rented, but they've not actually then linked it in with the tourist tax? Come on, but you have properties that you rent out with a license. Surely, as part of the license giving, you have to then pay your tourist tax. Come on, that's got to go together, hasn't it? Please tell me I'm not wrong.
No, of course you're right. But we have this very strange thing in Spain where if you don't pay your taxes, you don't get penalised. You just accrue interest on the actual amount, don't you? So some people, I mean, I work in property, and some people don't pay their council tax for 5 or 6 years, and they eventually have to. But you'll go there and you'll see that the interest accrues. So it should have been 600, for instance. Listen, my tourist tax on one of my houses is about 750. If I don't pay it, I'll pay it a year late, which I can do, but I'll pay 850, Rich, for instance.
No, I do get that, but what I'm trying to say is, right, listen, they've been given a license to rent their properties. Surely, at the time they give their license, they should be signed up to actually pay the tourist tax. They should go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
It should never be that you've then got to register for the tourist tax. No.
I agree.
License,
I agree.
But at the same time, you register yourself to pay the tourist tax. And they've just discovered this. What?
Yeah, I mean, it just shows you that they've really got their eye on, they've really got their finger on the pulse, haven't they? Also, what I'd say, Rich, as well, is if you have a tourist license for your house, okay, that license itself it turns the house into a business. Yeah, so you're not selling a house, you're selling a business. So it can put up to easy 6 figures onto the sale of a house. Okay, easy 6 figures. So why people don't want to protect that, I'll never know. I mean, it's one of the first taxes I'll pay, because I don't ever want to lose a license, because if you lose your license, you're probably not going to get it back. It sounds to me like the Balearic government need to get a grip of this and give people final demands, or they'll lose their license. That's the most important thing. If they lose their license, they are up
a very good point.
They were up the creek without a paddle.
A very good point, Mark. A very good point. What you got? Anything else?
Yeah, last one, mate. I don't like this. For immigrants, we've got a problem, Rich. There's trouble at mill, as we'd say. 157 arrived this weekend. Yeah, 157 in Formentera in one weekend. It's a disease, isn't it, Rich? I mean, I think it's people. I think it's fueled by social media. I mean, in a way, economic migrants, they're looking for a better life, aren't they? But it's putting unbelievable pressure on Ibiza and Formentera. They've built this receiving area in the port near Marina Botafoc at the dike there, which is at the far end of Ibiza port, and I think it's going to be full literally within days, Rich. So there's a massive problem there. We're looking for the government, we're looking for solutions, but I'm not sure there are, Rich, because unless you patrol the seas with guns, I'm not sure you can get them, you can send them back, can you? So it's really the situation's getting. As I say, this time last year, it wasn't even a subject for conversation, Rich. At the moment, it's in the news every single day. So it's an epidemic, and we need to come up with a vaccine.
Well, listen, Mark, over here in Mallorca, next, when is it? The 3rd of October to the 8th of October, which is, when is it? So that's this coming Friday, actually, the 3rd of October.
Yep.
4,500 sailors aboard the USS Gerald R. Ford could spend close to 10 million euros in Mallorca during their 6-day visit. It's the world's largest aircraft carrier. And US officials already in Palma preparing for the arrival with coaches to transport personnel from the ports and to the National Police and the Guardia Civil informs for security. Sailors are expected to spend between 200 and 400 euros, even per day. And their spending will cover things like excursions, sports, clothing, hotels, taxis, coaches, and car hire as well. It's a great thing for Mallorca.
I mean, I'm just reading about it now. Gerald R. Ford, it costs 12.8 billion to build.
It's the largest ship in the world. It's the largest floating. They call it a city, actually.
Yeah, floating city. Do you not think it's going to be absolute carnage?
It'll be interesting, because obviously this could be said, this is not the tourism that they want.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. Do you know what I mean? But I don't think. Well, I don't think the Americans are badly behaved under alcohol. But then, if you watch the Ryder Cup at the weekend, you would know something completely different. Do you know what I mean? Listen, I see it as a positive. I always look at things half glass, half full. Even see it as a positive. It's bringing money into the island. As long as there's no trouble or anything else, and then I don't see it as a major problem personally.
What they do, which is quite interesting, Rich, I've seen it before when it happens, that they send on their onshore police as well. So what you'll see,
they do.
You'll see all the what we call the sailors, the able seamen. They will be out, and you'll get the actual police patrolling, so that the military police from the American point of view patrolling as well. So I think it's going to be a real vibe, mate. I've got to tell you now. I think the Americans will know how to party, but obviously just don't mention the Ryder Cup, because they might they might not be happy.
How good was that?
USA. Oh, it's fantastic, mate. I mean, it was absolutely wonderful, Rich. I mean, I'm not the biggest golf fan in the world, but
me neither.
Water.
And it's something that I binge watch, Mark. I
Yeah.
really did. I
No.
couldn't stop watching it. And if I had to go and do something, go to football or anything, I was desperate to get back and find out what was going on. You know, it was fantastic, and I'm so pleased for the fact they won.
Yeah, all the emotions. I mean, Sunday was just it was a mad day. So listen, if you're in Mallorca next week and you see the Americans, just mention the Ryder Cup. They'll like that.
Real Mallorca got the weekend, finally, Mark. 1-0, we beat Alaves, so we're off and running, although we're not out of the relegation mire yet, but it's good to see. It's probably saved the manager's job for at least another couple of weeks. But yeah, so that's a positive.
Great way to leave it, Rich. Have a great week. Good to see you. Good to see you.
And
and we'll speak again this time next week, hopefully.
All right, take care, Mark.
Cheers, Richie.
Bye-bye.
Make me dance.
You've been listening to the Talking Balearics podcast with Martin Makepeace and Richie Pryor. This is the only English-speaking podcast covering the Balearic Islands, which has a thriving expat population and welcomed 15.3 million international tourists in 2024, including almost 4 million UK visitors.